in this video, got the whiteboard out, and I'm going to show you some powerful business lessons that I've learned. I told you I read a lot of books, right? So why don't I take some of that information and start giving it to you, and we can apply it to getting a business off the ground. When I learned this stuff, it blew my mind. So now I'm going to share it with you. But check this out. In America, 95% of the people only control 5% of the money. Right? That's a huge gap. But 95% of the people in America are E's and S's. E's and S's. They're employees and self-employed people. What does that mean? Why did they only control 5% of the money? I'll tell you why. Because they're stuck in a time for money trap. See that? Like a rat running on a wheel. We only got 24 hours in a day. So as an employee, your leverage ratio to yourself is 1 to 1. You do an hour of work, you get an hour of work worth of pay. And it'll never be any more. You just run until smoke's coming off that wheel, right? But what do employees do if they want to go out and get a bigger piece of that pie and make more money? They have something called an entrepreneurial seizure. They can't take it anymore. They're like, I got to be in business for myself. I can't work for anybody else anymore. What do? They go out and they get their own truck, their own walk-behind mower, their own accounts, and they go out and they become S's. They become self-employed, which is great, right? They get a little bit bigger piece of that pie. So instead of one guy chasing time, chasing money with all his time, maybe he goes out and he gets a truck. Here's my nifty little truck, a trailer, and some guys. And now he's the boss, and his leverage ratio is better. He's making a little bit better money. But now S doesn't only stand for self-employed; it can stand for Superman. The guy's got to do everything. It can also stand for psychopath, because the self-employed guy is running like he's the first one there in the morning, he's the last one to leave at night, he's the last one to get paid. S also stands for stress, right? So check this out. I want you to check this out. If you got a little village, here's my village. Oh, look at that. I'm like Bob Ross. Remember that guy? Yeah, the pretty trees. So you got a village here, and over here you got a freshwater stream. It's about a mile away. Well, the employee is carrying buckets. I didn't make all this stuff up. This is Robert Kiyosaki's Cashflow Quadrant. You got to get that book. Write that down. It'll change your life. And all this stuff right here is from a book called The Parable of the Pipeline by Burke. I read these books years ago, so don't be thinking I'm like smarter than my britches or anything. But okay, so you got a bucket, and you're carrying buckets of water back and forth. Carrying buckets of water, right? That's one job. If you get two jobs, now you're carrying one bucket on each side, like 100 pounds. Dripping in sweat every day. You get the point. So a self-employed guy will get a truck and a bunch of buckets and a bunch of guys, but he's manning that truck, right? Now, if the self-employed small business owner doesn't show up to work, or he's sick, or something happens, and he doesn't show up, well, a lot of times the employees they'll start failing because the captain of the ship isn't there, and they'll start kicking over the buckets, spitting in them, stuff like that. You get my point. Now, since you got all that in mind, I want you to come over here to the right side of the quadrant. See, this is called the Cashflow Quadrant, ES. But up here, 5% of the people in America control 95% of the wealth. What are these people doing? Well, the upper 5% in the upper right-hand quadrant are what you call B-type business owners, or B business, big business owners. And right here, these Bs, they're not in a time for money trap anymore, because they don't spend their time for dollars chasing dollars. They invest time and money. They invest time and money into building business systems that generate cash flow and residual passive, income. And basically, these guys can leave work 6 months and go on vacation, run their business from a cell phone, and their business will just keep growing while they're gone, because they put the systems and protocols in place to make their business do that. Now that takes a lot of, I can get into EQ and IQ and emotional intelligence, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I'll do it in another video, because it's a whole nother thing. Well, so they develop a business system The biggest, best business system that I can think of now that would resonate with you would be Ray Kroc and the founder of McDonald's. In the mid 1950s, he went to Chicago. Someone's knocking on my door. 1 second, don't you go nowhere. Uh-oh. Hey. Ain't going nowhere. Look what showed up in the mail from Lockport, New York. You know what this is? This is the lavalier mic set that's gonna allow me to interview the entrepreneurs. This was $400 and I got it for a deal used on eBay. It's just a real good lavalier mic, so I can mic the entrepreneurs. We're not talking about that right now. So, where was I? Ray Kroc and the founder of McDonald's in the 1950s. He was a shake machine salesman, and he went in McDonald's. He's like, oh my God, the McDonald's brothers, these guys are pumping out burgers, fries, hot dogs so fast. They had a system down where, you think about it. In McDonald's, you got 15, 16, 17-year-old kids running a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. What's going on there? Where's the owner? Do you ever see the owner of McDonald's behind the register ringing you up? No, because it's a franchise business system that works whether he's there or not. The average McDonald's takes about just $800,000 to buy the franchise. You got to be a previous McDonald's owner. $1.3 million just to get the building up and running, and up to $2 million for to get a McDonald's launched. And then you get, Ray Kroc got a penny per burger residual off of teaching other entrepreneurs how to do that system. By the time he died in 1992, his wife was getting $90 million a month off 1 penny per burger. That's that residual income where you put in all the work up front. I think of it like a Ferris wheel or a whole carnival. You know how they build the Ferris wheel, they put all that work in to get it up, and then once it's running, the guy just sits there and collects money, and the thing's just collecting money. It's a cash machine. You still got to tweak it, but that's the whole point. And then down here is investor quadrant. That's where money simply generates money in an endless loop. And this is the category of the rich and the mega rich. Investor doesn't mean you got a couple like mutual funds and things like that. These are people got at least 300,000 just sitting on a nightstand, just sitting there, and they just throw it in minimum to go invest in things. But to get back over here in the E's and S's, this is what it is. You start out an employee. If you're like a normal person, you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and you work your way into the S quadrant. From the S quadrant, being self-employed, you learn how to develop systems and protocols in your business and find out what's wrong, and you iron out those kinks consistently every year so you can get your business to a point where it's systematized, where it's on autopilot, where the thing is running like a smooth engine, a well-oiled machine, and you move up into B business. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be a billionaire like Ray Kroc in the McDonald's Corporation, but what I'm saying, that's a good system to look at. I wonder if I should go into that now. Basically, everything is done the same. Everything that is duplicated and replicated. You want everything to be like cookie cutter. Everybody has a system. So, and then from there you can finally move into the I quadrant. Me, I'm not qualified to talk about all this stuff. I'm not even there yet myself. But to be aware of it is the most powerful thing, that this is where we are right now. We're self-employed. We're not big business owners. We don't own a landscaping business. We're just self-employed guys. They're small business. Once you start getting up to like a couple hundred people, that's when you're moving up into that. So I just wanted to bring that out for you. And another thing right here, what a B business owner does in this pipeline, instead of carrying buckets, they're going out every single day after work, in the evenings, nights, and weekends, investing their time, energy, knowledge, and money in building a pipeline. Little by little, building a pipeline, and these people think completely different than everybody else. These people are considered like psychos. They're nutcases. Like Walt Disney. Walt Disney was turned down by, I think it was like 300 banks. Don't quote me on the number, but they thought he was nuts. What, you're going to build a Disneyland with talking characters? You're nuts. It's never going to work. Sam Walton of Walmart, he was made fun of by his own family and called, crazy. Because when you're building this pipeline, Think about this. They're building the Mackinac Bridge, or they're building the Golden State Bridge. And halfway through, some critic walks up and goes, I don't see any cars driving across this bridge. It's not going to work. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. I don't see any cars driving across this bridge. You guys like when I do that? My rant. So once that pipeline is done, it doesn't matter if it takes 2, 3, 5, 10 years to build it, because you drop in a pump, boom, shh, water's flowing faster, cheaper, more efficiently, and it's cleaner. You build pipelines where water flows. Now, as the owner of that residual passive portfolio pipeline, you can sit back in the Caribbean islands and just watch income flow and hit your bank account every week or every month. You don't have to do anything. That's not what you want to do. You want to take everything you learned from that and go out and duplicate that and start building pipelines all over the world. That's when these B-type business owners start getting into the field of the mega rich, because now that they know how to do it, they go out and they start duplicating that, and they start getting their way into the investor quadrant. So that's down the road. But see, how can you find ways to systematize your business? What are some things you could do, especially over the winter, and to really think about, hey, what went wrong this year? How can we fix this? What kept causing a recurring issue? It might be an issue inside of you. How can you systematize and document that in a structure? What's a document? What's a clause? Maybe a sunset clause like in a contract? Well, what's a clause in your business that takes an action protocol? There's hard systems and there's soft systems. A hard system is a physical thing, like a gate. A soft system is an idea or a concept or things that come into play. Think about all that in your business. Contemplate on what I said, and ask me some questions on the comments. And yeah, that's about it. I'm going to do a couple more of these videos too, because I think that they're going to create a lot of value. Because there's different ways people learn, and some people learn like this. Some people can't stand this. If you shut off the video already, I'm not talking to you. If you're still watching, then this shows me that you learn like this. So thanks for watching. As you can see, I'm representing, right? Hey man, the guy gave me the t-shirt. I like the t-shirt. Why not represent? Thanks, Geek to Freak. All right, Audi.